Tell us how many folks are here?
That's an excellent question. I do not know.
Okay, that's fine. I just didn't know if we could tell.
I don't know. You know, it'll open momentarily and we'll see.
Oh, it's telling me 4, so I'm guessing maybe somebody else is there. Attendees more.
Okay, where are you seeing that?
In the bottom under participants. Yep.
Okay. And you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Well, it's 7:30, so while people file in, we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, we'd like to welcome all participants and thank you for joining us. Just want to cover a couple of housekeeping items and then I'll turn it over to your presenters. For questions, you will be using the Q&A box on your screen. Please know that the presenters cannot see or hear you. This is webinar format, not meeting. So you have to ask questions through that Q&A box because your camera and microphone are off and there's no way to turn them on. Also want to make sure that you realize that you can sign up for more IACAC sessions at www.iacac.org. and that a recording of this will be available. So it is being recorded. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to your presenters. And once again, thank you for joining us.
Okay. Hello, my name's Joanne. I'm going to share my screen now here. So my name's Joanne, and I'm actually your admissions counselor from UNI. So with that, I'm the one who'll be emailing you after today, but also emailing you as you're looking for additional information for UNI. And then I have Amanda here. Amanda, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Amanda. I am a senior here at UNI. I'm from Huntley, Illinois, so it's like the northwest suburbs of Chicago. And I'm majoring in elementary education, and then I also have a minor in science.
Awesome. And if you would like, you can message us your major just so we know who's all in the audience today and know what we can talk about as we're going on. So you can use that Q&A feature for that and it will just show to us here. So like I said, my name is Joanne and I'll be talking with you a bit today. So UNI, where we're located, maybe I'll tell you where we're located. This is our campus. I should actually show you that first. So we're a mid-sized institution, which we'll talk about in a second here, but this is basically the majority of campus you can see here in the photo. A lot of, I think it's very easy to get around. Amanda, do you want to speak on that?
Oh, very easy. Yeah, everything is really close together. You don't have to worry about hopping on a bus to get anywhere. Everything is super close and nice and compact.
Awesome. So where we're located, if you're not familiar, we're located right where the Panther Head is at. So you can see they're right in Iowa, kind of in the north eastern part of the state. With that, we have just over 10,000 total students, and we have students from across the nation and across the world. So a lot going on here at UNI. With that mid-sized institution, a lot of opportunities, but then also you have that opportunity to make connections with those around you at the school. So just a couple stats for you. UNI is a mid-sized public school in Iowa. And so with that, here's some of our accolades. One of those is we're one of the best value schools. So you're going to graduate with great education, but also we're going to make sure that you are not going to graduate with a lot of debt. So we're looking for affordable education for you. So what will you find at UNI? What opportunities will you have? What are our academics? So first, thinking about it, 99% of your classes are going to be taught by faculty. That doesn't mean teaching assistants or anything like that. These are full-time faculty. Amanda, do you want to talk about your experience working with faculty at UNI?
Yeah, I've had a few different opportunities through the education department alone. A lot of my professors have set me up with different resources, whether that be tutoring, like other faculty's kids, or I even had the opportunity to travel to Texas for a week, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without the help of my advisors and professors on campus here as well.
Awesome, thank you. And I think the one big thing is like, these are people who have either, worked in the industry for business, or have, been in the classroom, or have hands-on experience before they taught. And so they have that experience working with folks. So I think that's the biggest thing. Note that our faculty's main focus is to teach, not to do research or anything like that. They're there to teach our students. So I want to talk a little bit about the opportunities. So with that, we have a lot of different major opportunities, pre-professional, so like pre-dental, pre-health, pre-med, pre-nursing, things like that. Sorry, my throat's getting me a little bit. And the number of different minors and certificates and things like that. So a lot of opportunities. Really what I want to talk about is that average class size. So that's going to be the amount of students that are in your, everyday classes. You might have some that are a little bit bigger, some that are a little bit smaller. But I think the big thing here is you're going to get to know those faculty, get to know your classmates and things like that. So really making sure that we have that available to our students. Amanda, do you want to talk about a little bit of the class sizes that you've had at UNI? What that, your typical classes, but then maybe your largest and your smallest as well?
Yeah, so my typical class size, I would say, is like obviously right around that 30. So most of my classes, especially now that I'm in all of my major classes, are like right around that area. My biggest class size was one of my LACs, which is just a liberal arts core or a general education class. And that one had about 115 students in it. So that was definitely my biggest. And then my smallest one is actually the one that I'm in right now. It is for my science minor, and there are only 8 of us total. So super small, really easy to get to know your professor and all of the other students that are in that as well.
Definitely. And I think, working with the students, other students in your class, that's how you're going to get to make friends and things like that. But those are also people that you end up working with later on in the field. So I think that's another opportunity for students there too. So if you don't know what you want to major in, that is okay. You can still decide what you want to major in. So 1 in 3 of our students is still testing it out and seeing what they want to do. And so note that it's okay if you don't know what you want to do. We have individual counseling, group counseling to help you kind of figure out what do I want to major in. And so we'll work with you on that while you're at UNI. So 93% of our students are graduating with hands-on experience related to what they want to do. So here you see they're doing some research with biology. Amanda, do you want to talk about a little bit of your hands-on experience as a student?
For my hands-on experience, especially within the education department, UNI does an absolutely amazing job of getting us in the classroom early and often. And so my freshman year, right away, I was able to get hands-on experience in a first grade classroom. And that was my freshman year, like I said. And it was a great way to just like solidify the fact that I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. And so especially in the education department, it's super easy to get that hands-on experience. And even within other classes, they still make sure to get you into the classroom as much as possible.
And I think that's the big thing is we want to make sure that you have that hands-on experience, because when you are applying for jobs, that's what employers want is not just hear what you did in class and what your GPA is, but what have you done and what experience do you have that relates to that. So I think that's really where UNI prides themselves in that hands-on experience. So thinking about what are these hands-on opportunities. Undergraduate research, we have students who can work with our synthetic cadaver labs. We have students who are doing experiments, who have internships, who are doing research on their own. So you have the opportunity as an undergraduate student to be published, have published research. So that's going to be awesome for you. With that, our business college has been ranked one of the best business schools by the Princeton Review for over the past decade. They've had that. And we've also, we're just ranked as number 3 in the country for our accounting program. So with that, that means students are passing the CPA exam. If you want to be a certified accountant, they're passing that with super high numbers. We also are known for our ed program, kind of as Amanda mentioned. And so with that, we graduated over 460 education majors every single year. We're known nationally and internationally for that program. But then we also have some more unique programs like gerontology, which is working with older folks, so as they're aging, so like nursing home and things like that. But then geographic information science, and that's going to be more where you're working outdoors and things like that. And the really big thing is we're making sure that you're graduating. And if you're wanting to go on to grad school, pre-professional school, anything like that, students are getting accepted at super high rates for that. So if you're wanting to go into those programs, we're preparing you for that within the classroom and that hands-on experience. So 94% of our students have achieved success within 6 months. That means they're in grad school, they have that job. So I think that end goal for you is, having a job and a career that you enjoy. Students are doing that, and that's because of our high academic quality, hands-on experience, but then also connecting you to those resources while you are a student. So if you are taking transfer credits, note that those will come in to UNI. We actually have an agreement with the Illinois community colleges that we're going to be taking that credit in, or if you're getting your associates, we'll also take that. Don't necessarily recommend that trying to do that in high school. I would actually encourage you not to do that because then it's a little bit harder for you at college. But we do take AP credit, looking usually for a 3, 4, or a 5 on those exams, and we also do take IB credit as well. If you do have specific questions, send me an email and I can look into those classes for you. And we can even recommend classes that we can want you to take if you're planning on taking some of those dual enrollment classes while you're still in high school. Amanda, did you come in with any credit?
Yeah, I did. I took my senior year of high school, I took AP Spanish and AP Statistics and AP Environmental Science. And so I was able to get a few elective credits once I got a 3 or higher on those tests as well.
And with that, you just send the schools that you're interested in those AP scores, and then we do the rest on our end. So no need to really worry about that right now, except for studying and doing well in your classes. So on our website, we have a 4-year plan of study for every single major. So with that, you can look and see what classes will I be taking. And also we have this website here, majors.uni.edu, where if you go to that, it will show you different careers that you can do with certain majors. Where are current graduates at? What clubs and organizations do we have that go with that major? So I think that's a really good resource for you. So once again, is majors.uni.edu. And then you can see there all the different majors that UNI offers, from business, like marketing and accounting, to education, biology, philosophy, religion, a lot of different majors. Like I mentioned, more than 90. So you can check them all out there. So what else do we have on campus? Of course, we have academics. We want to make sure that you're doing that, but we also want to make sure that you have that full, well-rounded experience. Because while you can get hands-on experience in the classroom or through those internships, we're also wanting to make sure that you're building up those leadership skills, because no matter what profession you work in, you will be working with people. If you can think of one that you don't, I can probably show you a way that you are working with folks. So we want to make sure you're building up those skills as well. So at UNI, we have a number of support services for you. So with that, we have our academic advising center and things like that. Amanda, do you want to talk about resources that you've used at UNI as a student?
So that second bullet point there is career services, and that is one that I've been able to use. They have an office on campus, and it's really helpful because they are experts in helping people find jobs, internships, and my favorite part was the resumes. And so they're one of my classes, I had to make a resume for my student teaching, and I was able to just simply email my resume to them, and they emailed me back in less than 24 hours with a ton of comments, recommendations, things to fix or improve on, which is really nice as well. They also do mock interviews, and so that office is super helpful. And then I would also say the Learning Center is also a really important one, because that is the tutoring service on campus. And so there, if you're struggling in any class, if you need help with anything, that could be anything from a class to like test taking strategies, or if you need like a writing coach for writing papers, that can all be done at the Learning Center, which is really helpful as well.
Yes, and I think the big thing is, like, we want to make sure that you're going to be academically successful, and part of that starts with being, a healthy person. And so the University Health Services, you can go see a doctor right on campus. You don't have to wait to go back home and see your family doctor. You can see somebody right on campus. So if you're not feeling well or anything like that, we also have counseling services on campus. So individual counseling, group counseling available for students. But then we also want to make sure that you're, educating yourself, because in college, you're going to meet people that look like you and think like you, and people that come from different places and think differently than you. And that's a huge part of the college experience. And so at UNI, we have a number of resources for that, and also opportunities. So the Diversity, Inclusion, and Social Justice Office is going to work with students to have a safe place. And so that's going to be our Center for Multicultural Education, our Gender and Sexuality Resource Center, and then our Military and Veteran Resource Center there as well. And so with that, they're gonna have educational opportunities where they have speakers and panels come in, different events that they put on, but it's also gonna be a space where students can go and hang out as well. And I think a lot of students use that space to study, use it to go and learn, but then also just a place to gather as well. And we do have our university honors program. So with that, that's going to be if you have higher than a 3.9 GPA, or if you have a higher GPA and an ACT or SAT score. So that's like a combo there. So let me know if you have additional questions on that. And one really cool thing about the honors program is you get to do a research project with that. So you do an undergraduate thesis project, and you can be any topic that you want it to be. So I think that's kind of a cool way to learn about something that you're interested in or passionate about. One last one I'll mention before we go on is going to be student accessibility services. And that's going to be an office on campus that is there to remove any barriers that might hinder you from being successful at UNI. So that could be in the classroom, residence hall, dining center, anything there. And so with that, if you are seeking out accommodations and need to get connected with them, you can do that on our website, and they'll be able to talk to you about any accommodations that you may need. It's a little bit different than high school, and maybe they're just given to you. College, you kind of have to seek them out. So we'll work with you on that right from the start. Oops, I skipped a slide. Amanda, do you want to talk a little bit about your on-campus involvement and things that you do?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm in a few different clubs and organizations. I'm in Student Admissions Ambassadors, and so we're the group that gives tours around campus. We sit on panels kind of like I am right now. And then within that, I'm also in the College of Education Student Ambassadors, and so I give tours of our education building, and then I talk to prospective education students. And then along with that, I'm also in the marching band and the pep band here. And then I'm also in BASIC, which is one of the very many student ministries that we have here on campus as well.
And one thing that's really cool about UNI, like their marching band, they are like the pride and joy of Panther Nation. At least that's what the football announcer says, and I believe him. You actually don't have to try out unless you're part of the color guard or the drum line. So I think that's a really amazing opportunity for students, because like Amanda mentioned, she's an education major and she's still in the marching band. So it doesn't have to be that it's related to your major or anything like that. I mean, that goes for any of our theater productions, our music groups. So if you want to be a part of a choir, we have a show choir, things like that. You don't have to be in the major for that. Some of those ensembles you do, but there are ones that don't as well. But then we're also going to have, kind of like Amanda mentioned, educational clubs and organizations. So through the different departments. Basically, every major is going to have their own club. That's going to be where you can meet recent alumni, see what they're doing in the field, how would they prepare. But then also, in addition to that networking, you're going to get to know other folks. You're going to get to know your faculty members, because those will be the ones advising that organization as well. But then we'll also have, like she mentioned, campus ministries, volunteer organizations, fraternity and sorority life, a lot of different opportunities for you. And so you can check those out on our website as well. What's really cool is when you are a student at UNI, we have a really big organization fair. And so they'll all be set up. Usually we do it outside if the weather's nice. And you can go and see what different student organizations are about. You can sign up for them, go check them out, and then kind of decide what you're passionate about and what you want to get involved in. We are a Division I athletic school. So with that, we're in the Missouri Valley Conference. So there are also some schools in Illinois that are in that conference. And we do have football. So they just released a football schedule today. So should be good. We're going to play in the spring this year. With that, students getting free to all UNI athletic events. So from swimming and soccer to volleyball, football, wrestling. Students just take their ID over and you get in free to those events. If you're wanting to be a little bit competitive with some sports, we also do have club sports. With that, those are tryout and they do travel around and play other schools. But then we also have intramurals, and that's going to be where you sign up for a team. They're not usually as competitive, but some people try to think they are. And that's where you can do canoe battleship, soccer. This year they have like some esports as well. So that's a rising involvement, but then also they have that intramural. So a lot of different opportunities for you there. Try something out or do something that you have always been doing. And then students do get 2 tickets to our Performing Arts Center. So that's gonna be like off-Broadway shows that we have right on our campus. Those can be comedians, game shows, musicals, plays, things like that. But then there's also student performances that you can go to in any of our student plays. Students can get into those, they get 1 free ticket to those as well. So each production they can go to there. And then we also have, of course, those other music performances as well. Our Varsity Men's Glee Club puts on an amazing show every year. Tickets for that, you have to get in advance for sure, because they use that as a fundraiser for their trip abroad every year. Amanda, anything else on student life or anything there?
Yeah, I guess I would just add to definitely get involved. It is super important. It's marching band especially. That's just where I met most of my best friends that I met freshman year, and I'm still friends with them today. It's just a great place that you get to meet people that have the same interest in you. And for the most part, I mean, you definitely will not regret it. So definitely get involved.
I would agree with that. Definitely do that. Whether you go to UNI or somewhere else, get involved. That's going to be our piece of advice for you. So studying abroad is an opportunity that you have at UNI. So we have 2 options where you can study at other places. We have study abroad, which is where you can go abroad for 2 to 3 weeks over the summer or winter break, or you can go abroad for, you know, a semester to a year. And then we have national student exchange, which is where students can go study somewhere else, usually in the United States or Canada. And so with that, you can go and study maybe in the mountains for a while. You know, maybe you've been in the Midwest and you're like, let me get out of here for a little bit. But we also see students do this if they're looking for grad programs out of school. If maybe they're wanting to move somewhere after they're done at UNI to go somewhere else, and they're like, I want to check it out first, get a lay of the land to see if it's somewhere that I actually want to be. But I think students really like this opportunity because they know they want to get their degree from UNI, but then they have that opportunity to study somewhere else for a semester or 2. Amanda, have you studied abroad at all?
Yeah, so like Joellen was saying, studying abroad, we have like a ton of different countries over the world that we partner with, and you can either do that for a whole year or a whole semester, or like she said, even just 2 to 3 weeks. And I love it here at UNI, and I really wanted to study abroad, but I didn't want to be gone for a whole semester. And so I took my capstone course, which is just the regular course that everybody has to take before they graduate. And UNI allows you to take that abroad if you want. And so I was able to go and spend 2 weeks in Peru, and I got class credit for it. I went down with 12 other students and a professor from UNI, and it was an awesome experience, and I would definitely recommend it if you get the chance.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Amanda. Okay, so you're saying, this sounds amazing, but what do I need to do to go to UNI? Your first step is to apply, okay? So we'll talk a little bit about our admissions requirements here. So right now, all you have to do is go online, admissions.uni.edu/apply, and that's how you'll go log in, create your account, and then apply. It really only takes about 15 minutes to apply. So for our admissions requirements, this year we are going test optional because we know that a lot of folks are having more difficulty taking the standardized test due to the current pandemic. So this year we are going test optional. What that means is when you apply, you have the option to report a test score or not. It will not hinder you if you do not report a test score. Sometimes you might want to report that though for scholarship reasons. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Really, the other thing that we're looking at for you is to have the core subject areas that you have. So we really want you to have 4 years of English, 3 years of math, which includes Algebra 2, 3 years of science, 3 years of social studies, and then 2 years of world languages. So Spanish, French, German, sign language, things like that while you're in high school. If you don't have one of those, that is okay. You can still apply. You will not be like automatically denied based on that. We still will look at your full application to see everything that's there. So don't feel like, oh gosh, I only took 3.5 years of English, I won't get in. We will still look at your application and you still can get admitted. One thing I do want to hit on here for you is that 2 years of electives, if you haven't taken any world language at all, that's okay. You can still get admitted. We really just push that 2 years because if you have that 2 years in high school, you don't have to take any additional while you're in college. So if you have 2 years or more, and you have a C- or higher, you don't have to take any more at UNI. But if you don't have any, that's okay. You can still be admitted. So with that, all you have to do is go online to that website, admissions.uni.edu/apply and report these 3 things: your core classes and your GPA, and then your ACT or SAT is optional. So like I said, if you've taken it, it doesn't hurt, but if you're not okay with your score, you don't have to report that. And note that if you take the ACT or SAT later on, you can still send us your score and we will add it to your file. So don't feel like you have to wait to retake the ACT or retake the SAT. You can just send us your score later on if that's something that you decide to do. We do have a $40 application fee, but if that does pose a financial barrier for you, just let me know and we can actually waive that fee for you. So don't feel like you can't apply if you cannot afford that. And then you will receive a response within a week via email. So we try to get back to you as soon as possible, so you're not sitting around waiting on that. So pretty quick process, like I said, only takes about 15 minutes to apply. So next, you're like, okay, I really want to go to UNI. What are my opportunities for scholarships and grants and things like that? So coming from Illinois, the tuition and fees, so that's going to include all of your classes. We don't do per credit hour. Full-time student is going to cost you the same if you're taking 12 credit hours or 18. Most of our students are taking about 15 credit hours. So that's going to include, like I said, your classes, going to those sporting events, free printing, counseling services using our wellness and recreation center, so like our gym and fitness equipment. And then I feel like I'm forgetting something. We'll come back to it maybe. And then your room and board, which we'll talk about a little bit. It's going to be a room for you and a roommate, and then our unlimited meal plan. So that's going to be where you're living and the food that you're eating. It's going to come to $28,640 for you, and that's per year, not semester, per year for you. So next we'll talk about how to make that a little bit less for you. So 93% of our students are receiving financial aid. So with that, that means, scholarships, grants, loans, things like that. And for all of you, great news, you actually qualify for an automatic $5,000 scholarship. So with that, you get that every single year that you are at UNI. We're not looking at your GPA or ACT score or SAT score. You get that automatically every single year. You just need to keep a 2.5 GPA while you're at UNI, which most students need for their major anyway. And then we have additional scholarships that you can stack on top of that. So on this page, you can see the UNI Advantage Award, which is going to be that automatic $5,000. And then if you have taken the ACT or SAT, you can qualify for $1,000 if you have a 3.5 or higher GPA and a 25 ACT or a 1200 SAT. With that, you do have to have both the GPA requirement and the ACT requirement. If you have a little bit higher GPA, then you get a little bit more money. So you either get the $1,000 or $2,000. You do not get both, but that does stack with the $5,000 scholarship. For those students who have not taken ACT or SAT, you're in luck. We have some additional scholarships for you here. So once again, you're still getting that $5,000 that were on that previous slide, but then you can stack this Panther Success Award on top of that. And with this one, it's just looking at your GPA. So if you have a 3.6 GPA or higher, you will be getting additional money, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. And that again is per year, and you can stack that with the $5,000 scholarship that I talked about previous. And then we also have our United Scholarship. This is going to be if you're part of a TRIO or AVID program, or if you identify as a traditionally underrepresented population, which you can see those listed down here at the bottom. With that, you just have to mark that on your application, and then we will award that money for you as well. So the big thing with all of these is you meet the qualifications, you get the money, and those are renewable for 4 years automatically with a good GPA at UNI, which is 2.5. Then we have one more for you, and that's going to be our Out-of-State Legacy Award. So students coming from out of state who have had a parent, grandparent, or sibling who's graduated, or if you have a sibling that's currently at UNI, you get $2,000 per year on that. So once again, just make sure you keep that 2.5 GPA and you're going to get this money. So if you have alumni that are in your family, that's going to help you out a little bit too. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be our scholarship application. So with this, students fill this out every single year, right, Amanda? Except for your senior year. Don't do it that year. But with that, it's one application that's going to go to all the university scholarships. So this is where you can get money from your academic department, so like College of Business, College of Education, biology, things like that. one thing to note is it is a hard deadline. So January 15th is when you want to have that in. So January 15th of your senior year, you'll complete that, and then you'll complete it every day you're at UNI as well to get money for the next year. With that, it's all online. Once you apply, you can go in and do this. I recommend logging in there before January 15th so you can see what essays you need to write. It does have you write 1 or 2 essays, and I recommend doing that because that is how the selection committees determine who gets these scholarships. So make sure you put your best foot forward. Maybe you have a school counselor or English teacher or parent or somebody read over it, just to make sure that you're not making any mistakes in that process. But January 15th, write it down, put it in your planner, put a reminder on your phone, tell Siri to do it for you. January 15th is when the UNI scholarship application is due. And that's something you want to make sure for all the schools that you're looking at that you take note of, because they will be different deadlines for you. And these scholarships do stack with those ones that we talked about previous. The other way that you can get money is through the FAFSA. So the FAFSA opens next week, October 1st. With that, we do have a priority deadline of January 15th. So with that, this one you can do after January 15th, but we recommend getting it done by then so you can see what scholarships, grants, and loans that you have right away all at the same time. Grants are going to be money similar to scholarships that you get that you don't have to pay back. Federal loans, of course, are going to be loans that you get the money for, but you're going to pay it back plus interest later on. So we really work as students with this program called Live Like a Student to make sure students understand, you know, what does it mean to take out a loan? How do I budget my money so that I can, you know, get what I need, but maybe not extra, because that's going to cost me a little bit more money and that might put me in debt. So making sure that you understand exactly what you're doing. We also do have work study opportunities for students. Work study is just an on-campus job for you. With that money is just coming from a different pool than some other jobs. Note that if you don't qualify for work study, you still can work on campus. On-campus jobs, there are tons of them, over 4,000. So with that, students can work in food services, work in our athletics facilities, work as a personal trainer or a fitness instructor, work as a tutor. I'm trying to think of any other fun ones. Work in the library, things like that. So a lot of different options for you to work on campus, and that can be either with work study or without work study. And make sure that you are completing that FAFSA when it opens. You don't have to, it's not like you have to do it the first day, but make sure that you're doing that and meeting the deadlines of the different schools that you are looking at. And you can put up to 10 schools on there. So don't feel like you have to know exactly where you're going when you fill that out. So make sure that you are doing that coming up soon. So you and I, like I said, we want to make sure that you are graduating, getting a good degree, but then also doing that at an affordable rate. So with that, we've actually decreased the amount of loan debt that students get over the past 10 years. So with that, we're making sure students understand, what am I taking out in loans? What do I need for my books? Things like that, instead of just taking out the full amount when they may not need it. So we're really looking out for you, making sure that you're gonna get your education, go out and get your job, but also when you have that job, you're not using just that money to pay back debt. So let's say you applied, you've been admitted, what do you do then? So you want to go online to admissions.uni.edu/accept, or you can just type in accept on our website and it will pop up for you. And with that, we have a $320 acceptance fee. We do have a deferral request. So like I mentioned earlier, if that acceptance fee and the application fee poses a barrier, let us know. Same thing here. What that does is just puts it on your first university bill. And if you let us know by May 1st that you do not want to come to UNI, you'll get the majority of that back. So let's say you're like, yes, UNI sounds amazing. Joel and Amanda, they were great. I want to be a Panther too. You can accept your offer now so you can do these next steps. But then if you change your mind, that is okay. Just let us know by May 1st. But after you sign up for, you accept your offer, you get to sign up for housing, which is then where you can find a roommate and things like that. And then you can register for orientation when it becomes live in January. So for housing, we have a couple different options for you. Oh gosh, the slide went away. So with housing, we have a couple different options for you. We have a number of different traditional halls that are available. Amanda, do you want to talk a little bit about living on campus and that experience for you?
Yeah, so I have actually lived on campus for all 4 years. My first 2 years, I was in a traditional residence hall. I was in Hagman Hall. Definitely the best one, write that down. But we do have two different kind of sides of campus. And so we have like the quads and then the towers. And so all of our residence halls are connected to the dining centers, which are really nice. So when you have to face the harsh Iowa winters, you still don't have to go outside to go get a meal, which is pretty awesome that they have that. And right now I'm actually in an on-campus apartment. And so I've been in Panther Village for the past 2 years now. And all of the residence halls are awesome. You have, it's a great way to network with other people. It's a great way to meet people and put on different programs. And it's a lot more convenient and close to campus as well. So I would definitely recommend living on campus, not necessarily for all 4 years, but I will definitely say I have no regrets for that either.
Are you in your room now?
I am.
They say it looks like pretty decked out in Panthers.
Oh, you
gotta represent.
Oh.
With that, we do not require students to live on campus at any point during their time at UNI, but we see students who do live on campus for 2 years are graduating at twice as likely to graduate, and they're gonna have higher GPAs. So once again, like Amanda says, no regrets on doing it 4 years. I lived on campus for 3 years when I was a student, but that's up to you. I really do encourage that 2 years living on campus, more likely to use those resources, go to talk to your professors, office hours, and things like that. And then we also have an awesome meal plan. So with that, you can go into the dining center as many times throughout the day as you want. They open up at 7 a.m. and close at 5 p.m., 10 p.m., my gosh. And you can go in and out as many times a day as you want. So if you want a full breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can do that, or you can go through and get a couple snacks as well. Amanda, do you have any favorite foods or places to eat on campus?
Yeah, honestly, the dining centers are amazing. Like Joellen said, we're like ranked #1 in the Midwest for our food, and I 100% agree. The dining centers have awesome cookies. Their Jan's peanut butter cookies are amazing. And honestly, yeah, like Joellen was saying, we have awesome opportunities where you can just walk in as many times as you want during the day. All you have to do is scan your ID. And so we also have Blue Bunny ice cream in the dining centers as well. So sometimes after marching band rehearsal, my friends and I would just go into the dining center just for ice cream, which was awesome. And it's also really convenient. I was able to just walk right in there, maybe just to fill up my water bottle and grab a banana on the way out to class. So super nice for that, and definitely take advantage of it.
For sure. And then on top of that unlimited access to the dining center, you also get $100 to go to our convenience store locations. So with that, you can go and get a smoothie at our coffee house in the Union, or maybe you want to grab some sushi that's half price on Fridays from one of our convenience stores, and they make that right on campus. A lot of things that they're going to make fresh right there. They have, it's called Everything Bagels, and they're not just everything. You can get blueberry and things like that too. They make those right on campus, and so some of the student workers even work with that. I agree, the sweets are so good. My favorite's going to be the pumpkin bread that they serve. So that's where you can use those dining dollars at. So Starbucks coffee, things like that, you can get there as well. So just make sure you're using that. And then we also do have orientation. And so that happens over the summer. And that is where you come the summer before you're on campus. You'll get registered for classes. You'll get your UNI ID card. You'll start to meet other Panthers. You'll have an opportunity to learn more about student involvement and things like that. That's kind of like where it's more official. You have your ID, your email, and things like that. And then once classes start in the fall, there'll be a program called UNI Now. And then that's where you'll get to know campus before all the upper class students come back. You'll have a group leader. So that when classes start on Monday, you're ready to go for the semester. You have some friends that you know your way to classes and things like that. Like I said, our campus isn't too big, but when you're in a new place, it's just about getting acclimated there. So now I want to open it up for some questions. My email address is here. I am here to help. So if you have questions, you have concerns, let me know. It's just joellen.hatchett@uni.edu. And I can help you via email as much as possible. We can set up a Zoom call, anything like that. But what questions do you have? You can type those in the Q&A section down at the bottom. Okay, awesome. One question here says, you mentioned office hours. What is that? Amanda, do you want to talk a little bit about what professor office hours are?
Yeah, awesome. Office hours are a super awesome thing that we have here on campus. So all of our professors are required to have a minimum of 4 office hours every week. And during that time, it basically just means that all of the professors have to have their office doors open. And so you don't have to schedule an appointment with them. You don't have to worry about like playing email tag, trying to find a time that works for both of you. You can just walk right into their office, talk about homework questions, or maybe you want to go over your test grade or your grade in the class or anything like that. Definitely recommend using that, like using those even before you get homework. So in one of my classes, my freshman year, I used those office hours during the first week of classes. And I just went in to go get to know my professors. And then by the end of the semester, my professors knew my name, even out of 115 students. So it's really important to make those connections with your professors because they're the ones that are going to be writing your letters of recommendations for scholarships or for future jobs and all of that good stuff. So definitely make those connections as easily as you can.
Definitely. So there's another question here. I know I have an answer, but I'll let you talk first. What is there to do in the community? Are there any good places to eat off campus?
Yes. Yeah, we have a really nice downtown Cedar Falls area. So Main Street is super nice. There are a ton of different restaurants. One of my favorite places to go is the Tea Cellar. So it's kind of like a coffee shop, but instead of it just being like, they do have coffee, but they have just a ton of fresh tea grounds that you can go and you can just get like a pot of tea. And it's a great place. I think a lot of people know about it, but I think the majority of people don't know about it. So it's kind of like a hidden area where it's a great place to go and study, do homework, and sip on some tea while you're there. So there are definitely a ton of nice places, and right on campus, it's like just off of campus, we have the Hill, and there's where we have the insomnia cookies, which is the most important thing.
Yes, I think there's some awesome places to go and eat in town. I agree that Tea Cellar is one of my favorite places. There's also a 24-hour donut shop down here on Main Street. And for just like a little bit of context, it's only about 7 to 10 minutes from campus down here to Main Street. So not too far for you. So I think there's a lot of different places to go eat, but then also that we have some nice bike trails, places to go shop, movie theaters, things like that. Anything that you enjoy doing off campus besides eating?
Yeah, there's really nice like nature places to go and walk around. So there's a state park, it's called George Wythe, that's super close. So my roommates and I love to go over there. On campus, I know you said off campus, but you can rent bikes on campus and then you can take them off campus to go and ride bikes around, which is really nice and convenient as well because I didn't bring a bike here, but I'm still able to go and ride bikes around. So there's a lot of nice nature trails to go and walk around, which is really nice to have as well.
Definitely. And one question I just want to ask before we wrap up here today is, why did you choose UNI and why would you encourage others to, become a Panther?
Yeah, so obviously I'm an out-of-state student, and one of the reasons why I chose UNI was because of the distance it was from home. It's about 4 hours for me, and a lot of people that I met here in Iowa, it's kind of funny, they think that that's like super far. They're like 4 hours, but for me it's pretty nice. It's a nice distance away from home. I really liked that. I loved the size of the campus. It's a nice medium size, so I didn't have to worry about getting lost on a campus or just being like another person on campus. But it's also not super small, where I didn't want to go to a college that was like smaller than my high school because I went to a pretty big high school. So I love the size of it, and I always have to say the bonus, I just love the color purple. So that's another reason why I came here too.
I would say most people do look good in purple, so that is a perk for sure. But I think kind of like Amanda mentioned, we are that mid-sized institution for you, and we do want to make sure that you are able to get to know campus, get to know people, and have that hands-on experience. Like I said, if you have any additional questions, let me know. My email is joellen.hatchett@uni.edu. Hope you have a great rest of your night or day.
Can you stop sharing so I can share my last slide?
Oh, yep, you're good to go.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I know that I just wanted to, first of all, thank our presenters and thank you for joining us for this session. Just to let you know that after the close of the session, you'll receive a very quick 4-question survey. Also, you can sign up for more sessions on the IACAC website at www.iacac.org, and a recording of the session will be available on that same website. So thank you so much for coming, and have a great evening.